Fraternal greetings, fraternal blessings to all. You are the creator. And I think for many of us, we lose sight of that in our day-to-day activities and interactions and just moments in time. What I mean by you are the creator is everything begins and ends with you. And if we realize that fact, then we have more power and control over our day-to-day activities, and we no longer will blame anything or anyone for our current plight in life. In Sufism, there is a philosophy that states that the nukta, or the black dot, the nukta begins and ends all life. The black dot, in essence, is seen by the observer, but the observer is also the creator. So that black dot does not move until your mind understands that you are the creator to bring experience into your life. So when you actually start to understand this, we then understand that that black dot can become a line. Once you move it, it becomes a line. But then when you create an angle with that line, it becomes a wall, a corner of a wall. Then when you close it off, it becomes a square. You are responsible for creating that experience in your moment in time, when you understand that reality only begins and ends with how you perceive it, and you either perceive it as a master or as a servant. The servant waits for things to happen. The servant waits for Jesus, God, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, El Elo, Elium El, Elohim, goddesses, demons, so on and so forth, to do something for them. Whereas the master creates their very life and does not wait for an experience to occur. They create the environment for that experience to occur. This is what we have to start to understand on our journey on the left-hand path. When you journey through the cliff-off, you're going through the cliff-off, activating portions of your subconscious mind that have buried memories, programmed thoughts, perceived reality, and you are able to tap in there utilizing the forces that are associated with the cliff-off or the tunnels of Set. Those forces only exist because you let them exist. So therefore, how you perceive those forces, let's say Lilith, will dictate the level of understanding and mastery that will occur in your life. If you look at Lilith as an external source, an external entity, an external point of reference, then you are doing yourself a disservice, because when you turn that perception internally, you realize you are Lilith. Not that you're the grand Lilith of ancient times, not that you're the delusional mindset that many conscious idiots come with, where they believe they're really Tahuti or something else. No. What you understand is these are forces that have consciousness attached to it. And what you will do is you will tap into those forces with the consciousness that is associated with those forces and devour it for yourself. Devouring does not mean destroying. I think sometimes we misunderstand this on the left-hand path. Devouring does not mean destroying. Devouring is simply taking the energy within yourself and transmuting it for a purpose that you deem desirable. So, in many times, when we look at Lilith from an external source, you're losing the point of the working, which is to become a master over yourself. For you to be the master, to rule over yourself, to then create the experiences, create an environment that is conducive and beneficial and abundant for you and prosperous for you, we have to get away from looking at life externally all the time. Now, the debate would be, well, Ravana, do you believe that these forces, these entities are real or not real? It doesn't matter what I believe. What matters is what you believe. I've stated many a times what I believe, and therefore I work my rituals from that perspective. You have to decide that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if Lilith is real or not. What matters is the benefits you get from working with Lilith. What I share with people is I found that in my personal life, and that's based upon my perception, based upon my programming, based upon the level of work I've done to break the programming to recreate a new person. What I found is when I internalize these forces, entities, deities, demons, whatever we want to call them, what I found is that it benefits me to disassociate an external source or external point of reference and devour that inside. Therefore, the power resides within me that has been associated with these demons, deities, so on and so forth. So now I have the power of Lilith, the destructive power, the nourishing power, the transformative power. I now have that within me to be able to do what I deem fit with that power. It awakens me, it enlivens me to be able to pursue greater heights of self-mastery. Because at the end of the day, this all comes down to you and you alone. No deity is responsible for your actions and choices you've taken. Only you are responsible for that. And no matter what we do or try to spin it, you're ultimately the one who took the action based upon your choices, and the result is where you are today. So, are you working with demons, dark gods, goddesses, whatever you deem fit, for the purpose of having them help you and beg and grovel for their help? Because that happens sometimes. Or are you working with demons and dark gods, goddesses, to be just like them? To take your own place and your own throne and sit on it and realize you are and have always been that demon, that daemon, that god or goddess, goddesses. And only thing that kept you from sitting on that throne is you externalizing and thinking that these beings are greater than you and therefore possess more power than you, so you therefore submit to them. When the fact is, they consider you to be more powerful than them, or just as, or even more powerful than them, because many times these beings, these entities, these gods, demons, whatever, are of one polarity or one energy. These light gods and goddesses that deal with light and light knowledge and light references and light philosophies and religions are just that. They are just that. They are 360 degrees of just light. And your demons and dark gods and goddesses are 360 degrees of just dark. The human, us, has greater potential than either one, because we are 360 degrees of darkness, 360 degrees of light. Don't associate light with this golden light or spooky light. I'm talking about intellect. When you understand that we have both polarities or both energies within us, you can harmonious integrate it to be 720 degrees of whatever you choose to be. Ravana, but I hear you talk about the dark a lot. Of course, because we've been flooded and drowned in light since our inception into this planet through our mother's womb. So therefore, in order to bring the balance back, you have to submerge yourself in darkness, total darkness, to then be able to integrate the intellect, the light, with the dark. But understanding that gives us the reality of you being a Luciferian, the illuminated one. You have to understand that your intellect is necessary when you voyage into the darkness within yourself. That you should not separate the two. That you should know how to integrate the two. But in order to do that, as I said before, you have to go deep into darkness, and darkness alone for whatever length of time is necessary for you to understand your darkness. You can't understand it in a year. I don't care what these spookies, conscious idiots say. You can't. You have been flooded by, let's say you're 35 years old, flooded by 35 years of light knowledge. Meaning the philosophy and belief in right-hand path, fluffy, real, super spiritual, conscious beliefs that take the power away from yourself and give it to someone else. You have to understand what it feels like to take the power back and be that. Take your power back and be that dark god and goddess that chooses to integrate the intellect to be even more superior than you were into your past self. You can do this, but the choice begins with, do you want to be a creator, a master, or a slave or servant? Unfortunately, people get in their hissy fits and emotions when I begin to drop some memes that ruffle their feathers, and I purposely ruffle their feathers for a reason. I'm trying to get people to think beyond what they already think they think. You have to actually ask yourself, do I worship? And of course I get some young idiots and some old idiots that always want to comment. I don't really respond to comments. There is a reason for that, because your opinion is not, it's not relevant to me. Your opinion means nothing to me. The only opinion that matters is mine. That does not mean I will not listen to you. But what happens with some young individuals on any path is they get beside themselves. They forget that you have walked a path longer than they probably even been alive. And just because you don't go in depth into certain things, they think they have it over on you. Please. People, go somewhere else with that ignorant mindset. I choose not to discuss certain things because certain things are not really relevant to some of the work you're going to be doing. But don't get it twisted to believe that just because we don't discuss certain things on this path, that we don't understand it or know it. Some of the most intelligent people I have met are on the left-hand path. And they took years of journeys many of them started on the right-hand path, and they weren't just observers and sideline occultists, right-hand path occultists on the right-hand path. Many of them took a journey beyond the normal person. For example, myself and others that were on the right-hand path for years before we took our natural progression to the left-hand path. We were in the Rosicrucian, Freemasonry. We were in Astara. We were in various light right-hand path secret orders or societies. We were, for example, Sufis. We were yogis. We were into yoga and the Eastern philosophy deep. But our natural progression that is inside of many of us, but only awakened by very few of us, took us further into the left-hand path so we could really understand what it means to master yourself and yourself alone. What it means to be a God, accountable and responsible for yourself and yourself alone. What it means to preserve yourself. So when people respond to memes and things like that, I don't really comment. Your opinion is irrelevant to me. Now, the ones I comment, they make good points. But when they come on there and they comment based and they think they're adding on to some knowledge that they think you don't possess, what fools these mortals be? We got to understand, it's not about what you know. It's about how you apply it. Many conscious people do not apply it. That's why I left that path years ago. Because conscious people are just that. They're conscious fools. They do not apply the knowledge and therefore never progress beyond thinking they have wealth of knowledge and information. If you don't apply the knowledge becomes useless. We have people calling themselves vampires, never been initiated in a vampiric order, never been in a vampire covenant or coven. Here's the problem with that. Many vampires that have never been truly initiated in this are just dressers. They're fangites. They like to just put on the dress and wear the fangs and things of that nature. They're not really alive, so to speak. Really not tapped into the current. They're tapped into the fashion, the appearance of things. We have many necromancers that play video games like Dungeons and Dragons, and they think they're true necromancers, but when it comes to doing necromancy in real life, they're lost. This is not a video game. This is not a movie. This is some real life stuff. And why? It's because many of them are caught in the fantasy of things and not realizing that they're not they don't realize they're the creator of things. You have to, at one point or some point in your life, you have to realize you are the creator. And therefore, when you realize that, you start to do the things necessary to continue being that creator. You have to do things necessary to expand your creation and always create new things, because you're in a constant motion. You're constantly changing. If you're not, then you're dying. And that in due time will reveal itself too. Or you're stagnant or stuck. Much like Osiris was stagnant and stuck. Asar was stuck. This is why he became associated with death. Now you have your Kemetic spookies who are going to take that and try to make it super conscious. No, it's not. Simple. Death is stagnant. The death state can be stagnant. There can be a transformation in death only if you expand your mind beyond what led you to that stagnant state. Now, let me share this. Necromancy class for this new year is going to be, it's already taken off. It's already hardcore. Our necromancy that we teach in here is not this traditional necromancy where people basically, give blowjobs to the spirits. They basically grovel at the spirits and whine and beg the spirits. Now, we work it like the ancients did. We're going in depth into that. The way it begins in necromancy is we have videos and ritual work that takes it step by step. Basic steps. How to build it up. To the more advanced steps now. So necromancy class is near and dear to me. If you choose, it's there on Patreon waiting for you. The tunnels are set. We're halfway through. Do yourself a favor and join that. Myself and Demetrius, especially Demetrius, takes that class to another level. Do yourself a favor and join that. If you really want to understand the tunnels are set, then we metamorphosize that class into the Cliff-Off. That's a perfect class for you. I don't care if you like me or don't like me. You should not do things based upon who you like or don't. You do things based upon what benefits it can bring into your life. There's many people I don't like, but I still join certain things because they had things that would benefit my growth. I don't associate my personal feelings with that person with my personal work and the development I need. Some people have shit you need, period. Your choice. However, tunnels are set. Great class. Right now we have a Awakening the Sleeping Dragon class that goes over breath work, goes over Kundalini work, but from a vampire perspective. We just did a working called the Breath of Terror. Next level. Just listen to the title of the ritual, the Breath of Terror. If you understand vampirism, you understand why the Breath of Terror is necessary. That is something we're presently going over in the Awakening the Sleeping Dragon. Okay? We have a shadow work class that people come and go. They come from 1 month and then they disappear. So I can never really get that off the ground because I need people who seriously want to do shadow work beyond the common mainstream shadow work that is there today. Going into the abyss. That will then lead you into the void. That's the work we're doing in shadow work. But like I said, people skip in and out. I can't maintain a flow if I can't maintain people staying. You can't base a class off of one ritual. Hey, people are people, whatever. But that's another class. We also have the Black Path class, which is basically how to work with the jinn. Not work with the jinn from this mainstream modern crap. Most of these people who are talking or working with the jinn have no background in the Arab culture, in the Arab mindset, so on and so forth. So when I teach it, it's because I walked Islam for years. I learned the Arab culture for years. So therefore, I'm teaching it based upon the Arab culture that really understands the workings of jinn. So we do dhikr with the tispa. Tispa is the prayer beads in Islam. But the tispa, the way we use it as on the Black Path, is we use it for certain dhikring for certain names or attributes associated with the jinn or shaitan or iblis or so on and so forth. It's a very left-hand path, very dark work. That class is presently there, but no one's in there, so it just sits there. Again, when people are ready, you will come. Until then, the work must continue. But I hope that you all are ready to really do work this 2024. If you're not, that's on you. All right? Infernal blessings to all. I hope y'all have a fabulous 2024. Some of y'all come, some of y'all go. People disappear, people don't. My thing is, if you're gonna disappear, let someone know. Hey, I'm about to disappear. I'll check you later. If you're not, if you can't even do that, hey, whatever. All right. Eternal blessings to all.